I always dreamed of having children, and it came true for me when David was born. We knew something was wrong. David did not respond to the door slamming, telephone ringing, and especially to the sound of fire engines. Silent Journey, a film by Sandy Rochelle, a story of the challenges in overcoming deafness and autism. I noticed very soon that David was very different from the other typically developing deaf children.
Helen Keller wrote on at least 2 occasions in her biographies that if she could have one of her senses back, and of course she was blind and deaf, she would choose to have hearing before sight.
David never slept. Life was one long day. Neighbors tormented us with phone calls and cruel notes pasted on our door.
Boy who was both disabled as a deaf person and also as an autistic person, it takes exactly that.
The diagnoses ranged from central nervous system damage, minimal brain dysfunction, atypical, autistic-like, to emotionally disturbed. When I asked a school administrator, not a psychologist, how a child this young would become emotionally disturbed, he suggested I examine my marriage, and he sent me home to read Bruno Bettelheim, a very early and misguided figure in the early days of autism. He blamed the mother for the disability.
What autism is, where it comes from, and how it can be alleviated in many ways. This is a great breakthrough.
You know, there's a term in this field of disability where people say someone has plateaued. I find that the most absurd and demeaning. No one plateaus. We all continue to learn and grow and mature and advance for all of our lives. That's what living is for.
But deafness it seems more benign, but in fact it isn't. So that coupled with the autism is something that he really has transcended his disability.
Life is meant to be lived and enjoyed. No one has more of a right to happiness than anyone else. We also want to shine the light of awareness on all disabilities with challenging behaviors.
He is functional in a variety of areas, not only in living with other people, but also having a job, as you talked about, that he can deliver goods and services and food. This kind of functionality and a certain sweetness in his personality is very attractive and quite a dramatic change from 20 years ago.
He enjoys swimming most of all out of anything. If he could just swim 24 hours a day, I think he would.
Living a quality of life, and what that means, very similar to the things that it means for us without disabilities. It means participating in activities, being involved in their communities, socializing, having choices in their life.
So our concern is that when David is no longer able to do that, when we are no longer here, and he's no longer able to come home on the weekends, that he will have grown and matured to a point where he will replace coming home on the weekends with other more appropriate things for him in that time in his life.
Of empathy. And that means, as a parent, even though you may be frustrated, even though you may be exhausted, try and put yourself in your child's shoes. Try and view the world through your child's eyes. And really try to experience what it is that your child is feeling. And if you can do that, you will be better able to cope with some of your child's behaviors, and you'll become a better behavior manager.
He will use the wonderful things that we've done together as a foundation for the rest of his life.